Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about 10 things to avoid before moving to Topeka, Kansas. Number 2 will probably surprise nobody. Number 6 is interesting, but 9 and 10 usually catch people off guard. Make sure you leave a comment that let us know which one may surprise you the most, or if none of these were surprising and Topeka is exactly what you thought it would be and you're excited to move out here. After watching this video, if you still decide that this is the place for you, call my team. We would love to help you relocate out to our wonderful community. There's gonna be a lot of interesting facts and places that you'll probably want to know about when deciding where to go. School districts, areas of town, amenities, things that you want to be close by. We're happy to help with all of it. Call, text, or email. All of our information is on our page. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel because we keep putting out more and more videos about our community. So if this is an area that you're actually considering, we're just gonna have more and more good info for you.
Number 1, property taxes. Kansas has a 1.34% effective tax rate. What does that mean for you? We do pay a little bit more on our property taxes here in Kansas, so that is going to calculate into your monthly payment. We also have something called a specials tax. So for newer neighborhoods or neighborhoods that they are redoing, say the roads or putting in a new sewer system, those taxes, or the calculation of that is put into something called a specials tax. So the people in that neighborhood are actually in charge of paying off the new sewer line. All of that being said, Kansas is one of 12 states that have a median purchase price of under $200,000. So while you might pay a little bit more on your property taxes, you're gonna pay less for the home.
Number 2, if you're moving from a larger city, Topeka can kind of be boring sometimes. So let's say even you're moving from a place as close as like Kansas City. If you're in different parts of Kansas City, especially a downtown area, you were like a 5 to 10 minute walk from a lot of options of a lot of things for entertainment, fun, food, and everything else. Topeka isn't quite the same. We have lots to do, and you'll see a lot of that in our videos. We have to be more proactive about exactly what it is you're gonna do on the weekends and at nights, because if you just let it up to chance and every day we might decide to do something or we might not, we'll probably end up with a lot more evenings indoors on the couch watching TV or reading a book or something. So Topeka is a fun city if you're proactive about searching for things, doing your research, and planning stuff out ahead of time. We've got lots of lakes surrounding us and parks. We've got lots of fun things to do in town, but it's not anything close to, like, again, a large metropolitan area. Or if you're moving from a really pretty rural area with mountains and trees and streams and everything else, this is gonna be a bit of a change for you. So Topeka can be boring.
Number 3, Kansas is a stand your ground state. As of 2024, there's about 28 states that have some stand your ground laws. Of course, they're going to all vary a little bit, but basically what that means is, as a Kansan, you have the ability to defend your home and your family, and potentially, in some circumstances, with deadly force. So if that's something that you don't agree with or bothers you, this may not be the place for you. Kansas is overall pretty pro-gun. And what I mean by that is they don't have a concealed carry law anymore. They used to at one point, but that was taken off. So concealed carry is something you can do without having a permit, and open carry is allowed as well. So that is potentially a pretty significant factor for some. And just keep in mind that this is a pretty pro-gun state. Number 4. There's an abundance of pests in Kansas, and you really do need to know that before you move here. Some of those pests include chiggers, ticks, bees, and mosquitoes. Now, of those, they all can be a nuisance, and this is certainly not an exhaustive list. But of those, the ticks, I think, can be some of the more dangerous ones, and the ones that can be of concern. So you need to know about the ticks. In 2024, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment had about 200 lab-reported cases of tick-borne illnesses. So that can be significant, and that's something that you want to know before moving here, because they're certainly not going away. Now, so if you're an outdoorsman or you just want to spend time by bodies of water, etc., that's something that you'll have to kind of contend with. Now, with that said, I'm not aware of an area of the U.S. that doesn't have some sort of pest. I used to live in Phoenix, Scottsdale area, and you know, I didn't see as many pests in some aspects like the chiggers. However, they had scorpions, and I'll take chiggers over scorpions any day. So you just need to know that if you're going to move to Kansas, we do have some pests, and there's some other things too. We have brown recluse spiders. A lot of places in the nation do. So keep that in mind before moving to Kansas. And I think it's a pretty good place when it comes to that. Some other places have some more serious things, but those are some nuisances.
Number 5, Kansas has muddy water. So if you come from a state that you have a lot of outdoor water recreational activities that you like to do, or you just like to spend time in bodies of water, come with the expectation that you're going to be dealing with more murky, muddy water. We have like the Kansas River, for instance, which from its starting point out to where it connects to the next one is about 173 miles across state. Majority of that is bordered by like farmlands, so cows, field wash off, things like that. That's what's filling that water, that river, and it's not exactly clean. I don't think I've ever seen the bottom of the Kansas River, for instance, even at low times. We got a lot of different lakes around us and ponds, a lot of different things you can do as far as water activities go, but it's just more of a murky water situation. My wife came from California, and she's used to being able to look down like 20, 30 feet down into a crystal clear pool. I came from Pennsylvania, where we had lots of above ground water, natural springs just popping up everywhere. It's not the case here. Things are just a little more muddy, a little more murky.
Number 6, Kansas makes noise. Whether it be the 4th of July or New Year's Eve, you're gonna have some Kansans out celebrating. It's a little different than some other states. I have a friend who actually moved from West Virginia. She was quite shocked on the 4th of July when we were allowed to buy fireworks and shoot them off for a couple of days around the 4th of July. Don't be shocked to find people throwing fireworks. We've got mortars going off and possibly some gunshots. Don't worry, nobody's getting murdered. It's just celebrating the 4th of July or New Year's Eve. And then my personal favorite celebration is going to be when the Chiefs have a 3-peat Super Bowl win, World Series for the Royals, or even something with Sporting KC that's also very local to here. So don't be shocked, Kansas makes noise.
Number 7, there's 3 things that Kansas has that you need to know about. Humidity, and humidity. We've mentioned this in other videos, and there's a reason for that. It gets pretty wet out here in the summer. I came from Pennsylvania, I've said it 1,000 times. We had a pretty high humidity index, so I was used to it. Then I moved to southern Idaho, where everything was a dry heat. It'd be like 110 degrees. I didn't really feel like it was 110 degrees. And then I moved to Kansas and had to get reacclimated to humidity and realized that I hated it. It's just really, really hot and muggy out here in some of these summers. We just finished VBS at our church, and I was part of the games crew on the outdoor section. And every night from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. we'd be outdoors running games. And I was standing under a tent, standing still, running my game. And at the end of every single night, I was soaked from collar to sock, all the way through. I had some people asking me if I had sprayed myself off with a hose. That was literally just sweat from standing outside. It can get hot out here. My wife has curly hair, and it's a challenge for her on the regular basis to be able to keep her curls in place and for not to get super frizzy by end of day. So just understand that when you move out here, especially if you're moving from a drier climate, you're gonna have to acclimate yourself to the fact that there's just a lot of humidity here.
Number 8, harsh winters. You definitely want to prepare yourself for the range of seasons that we have here in Kansas. So we might have an ice storm. This city doesn't allow studded tires. So if you're coming from the north where, yeah, you might have winters, but you're allowed to have those studded tires, just know that's not a way that we can deal with it here in Kansas. Also, it might just snow enough throughout the day that you're having to re-shovel your driveway multiple times and your sidewalks multiple times in the same day. Also, we have limited equipment to deal with the harsher weather. We do have good snowplows and things like that take care of the maintaining of the streets, but they might not get to your side street in a timely manner. So it might be a week before you actually have a snowplow come down your road. I'm not saying it's always going to be a week, but you want to be prepared. So again, Kansas has harsh winters.
Number 9, sales tax. Kansas does have sales tax on items, and that can be high compared to some other states. Basically, there's a 6.5% overall Kansas sales tax. Different areas have additional, so it can be from 6.5 to 10.6 in some areas, depending on where you're at. Now, the unfortunate thing is food is included in that sales tax, which is not the case in all states. Some places exempt food, but it is included here, so you do need to know that. Fortunately, however, Kansas, the food in Kansas is actually cheaper than the majority of other states, so it offsets it. So even though we have sales tax on our food as well as other items, the actual cost for food is still less expensive than the majority. So while we do have it, there's a positive aspect to it as well. Once you know that before you move here, though.
Number 10, controlled burns. Now, if you've not been through the Midwest, this one's going to be a little weird for you. Between the months typically of February through April, farmers and ranchers all across Kansas will actually burn off weeds and excess off of their fields each year. So if you're driving through Kansas, for instance, during those times, there's a good chance you might look out and see quite literally hundreds and thousands of acres on fire. That is on purpose. Farmers are out there intentionally lighting on fire in a controlled manner, but this is how they clear up their fields on an annual basis. So if you're not used to that, it can seem a little scary at first. And there'll be times during that season where you might step outdoors, even here in town Topeka, and things just smell vaguely of smoke, and there might even be some hazy days because of it, because the wind will carry it down into town. So if controlled burns are not something you've ever witnessed before or haven't lived around, it might take you a year or two just to come to grips with it, but it's not a big deal. This is just what farmers have done for generations. It's healthy for the land, and it works really well for them. So now that you've reached the end of that, if you're still thinking, I need to move to Topeka, Kansas, here's the time to call. All of our information is going to be across the screen. It's going to be on our page. Reach out to us, talk to Patrick or Becky or myself. We would love to help you and answer any questions that you have and overcome any concerns that you may have about the area so we can welcome you to our beautiful community.